Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Ayaryanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Uvajjayanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Savanam. Omkaram Bindu Sanyuktam Nityam Dhayanti Yoginam Kamadam Mokshadam Chaiva Omkaraya Namo Namo. नमः समय साराय स्वानुभूत्या चकासते चित् स्वभावाय भावाय सर्वभावान्तरच्छिदे अज्ञानतिमिरन्दानां ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः तीर्थङ्करो जगतनाजयवन्तवर्तो ओङ्कारनादजिननो जयवन्तवर्तो जिनना समो शरण सौ जयवंत वर्तो तीर्थचार जगमा जयवंत वर्तो नमो तीर्थनायक ने नमो ओंकार नादने ओंकार संगरो तेणे नमो ते श्री कुंद कुंदने अहोपकार जिनवरनो कुंदनो ध्वनि दिव्यनो जीन कुंद ध्वनि आप्या अहो ते गुरु काननो अहो भगवती मातनो ध्रुव अचल ने अनुपम गति पामेल सर्वे सिद्धने वंदी कहो सुत केवली भाषित आसमय प्रव्रत अरे हूँ एक शुद्ध सदा अरूपी ज्ञान दर्शनमय खरे कहीं अन्य ते मारू जरी परमाणु मात्र નથી હરે જમ નેત્ર તેમજ જ્ઞાન નથી કારક નથી વેદક અરે જાણે જકર મોદય નિરજરા બંધ તેમજ મોક્ષ નહીં ઓમ નમઃ સિદ્ધેભ્યો ઓમ નમઃ સિદ્ધેભ્યો Om Sri Sutatmane Namaha. Jai Jinendra. Today is July 29, 2020, Wednesday, and we are continuing our class on Samaysar. And here we are on Samaysar, stanza 32. And as we said before, stanza 31, 32, and 33, they are three in a bunch together. They are related to each other. Stanza 31, we saw it, that so-called senses, and senses were divided into three parts. The material five senses that we have it, object of five senses, means everything that I can see, hear, touch, taste, and everything smell, all those objects. And on top of it, the knowledge, fragmented knowledge created in the knowledge mode. The mango example we gave, mango color, eye has seen the color, eyes are looking at the color. Nose is smelling this mango. Hand is touching the mango, and tongue is tasting the mango. Mango said, you know me perfectly. I give my completeness to, I surrender to you knowledge-wise. You know me completely. And how do I know it? I know it in a fragmented fashion. So mango has not done any fault. It just says, I'm giving everything that I have it to you for knowledge perspective. But my knowledge expression is so weak right now that I can perceive the knowledge through the senses only. And because of the senses involved in gathering the knowledge, So it becomes a fragmented form of knowledge. So the fragmented form of knowledge, five senses in mind, and also the object of senses, all those things are lumped sum together as a senses. And those senses and knowledge mode knowledge over here, and senses on this side, to differentiate between those two. That was the hybridization fault, not to differentiate. To consider them as a one was a hybridization fault. So, by bringing the attention to the eternal soul substance, I separated those so-called senses and eternal soul substance, and that's called Samyak Darshan. From the fourth spiritual development to fifth spiritual development to sixth spiritual development, this process continued. Now, when we come to the seventh spiritual development state, the new sets of problem cropping up. And that new set of problem is Bhavak Bhavya Shankar Dos, means the fruition of karma and the increase of attachment. Those two things, increase of attachment occur. Let me bring the slide so it will be easier to understand. We'll go from this slide here. Okay, so here, deluding state occurring within me independently, and fruition of karma is present independently, and to consider both as a same rather than to have separation between those two. To consider as a same, and that was the fruition of karma and altered state hybridization fault, Bhavya Bhavak Shankar Dos. This guy is called Bhavak. This guy is called Bhavak, and this guy is called Bhavya. Means this is the deluding state, this fruition of karma, and they have a principal cause, auxiliary cause relationship. Means they both are separate. In a flask, you take a oil and water. You try to mix as much as possible, but ultimately they both will get separated out. You put a water in the milk, and it appears that they have dispersed in every atomic particle of the milk the water has sprayed through. And it appears that both are same, but you have the means to do this separation. You boil that milk and water will evaporate and milk will remain as a milk. So the same thing over your fruition of karma and deluding state, they both are so close to each other, it appears that they are the same. I become angry because of such and such person did something like this to me. No, that person was simply instrumental cause, and I become angry by my own doing. I don't have to become angry, but I did. The example that we can take is, let's say you come from the work and you're extremely tired. And now kids are at a boy and girl, they're fighting for minor thing. And you blow out. Boy and girl fighting is kind of fruition of karma. And you blew out because you are tired, because you just said, I can't take this no more. You guys are bothering me all the time, and then you become angry. Now, tomorrow, same situation occurs. At home you are coming, you are tired, and now very important person is coming to visit at your home. So when you came home, kids were tired, kids were fighting as usual, but along with you, that important guest was with you. What will you do here? What do you tell the kids? Kids, go in the other room, please play there. Wait a second. Yesterday they were doing same and you blew out, and today you say, go in the other room and please play. Or watch TV or whatever, whatever. So to become angry or not to become angry was in your own hand. Fruition of karma is there. Fruition of karma will give any kind of situation to you. So what? One more example. Let's say that you went to the doctor and the doctor examined you and you are sick for a while and he says that you have terminal cancer and you are going to die. No other treatment is available. You will die within God knows whatever time, few weeks or few months, whatever. That news, having cancer going to kill me, is like a fruition of karma. Now it's up to me over here in the deluding state side. How do I want to react to this news? Gosh, why me? I'm very healthy. Throughout the life, I ate right thing and I did exercise and I did this and I did that and I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't do this. All the things you can start cursing the whole world because you have the terminal cancer and you went in the cursing the whole world and you became severely depressed. And in that depression, if the doctor told you it's got 4 to 6 weeks to die, maybe in the 2 weeks you'll die. You invited more problem, medical problem on top of it. Now you brought the depression problem. Now on the other side of the coin, terminal cancer, I'm going to die 4, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever. Now I can say, oh, you know what? I have that many days remaining, that much time I have it. Let me try to go into my innate state. Let me do the meditation. Let me do the scriptural study, and let me try to go within myself. And with that intense effort, you did go on this side, and you went to innate state, and you got a Samyak Darshan. Now tell me, how is that situation of a terminal cancer? It turned out to be blessing for you. It depends how you look at it. So, fruition of karma and altered state hybridization fault means bhavya. This is called bhavya, and this is called bhavak. Fruition of karma is bhavak, and sankar means hybridization. Dosh is fault. So, I just consider both them to be the same thing. That's my problem. Over here, what happens over here? So, let's see, is this the slide I want to start with? Not here, not here, no here. Hold it. Oh, we are going to start from here. Yeah. Okay, so this is the place we were here last time. One thinks about the eternal existence of a given substance. Any substance in the universe, they have the eternal existence. I have eternal existence. Simply knowing I have an eternal existence means me as a soul, nobody can kill, nobody can destroy me. Yes, somebody can destroy my property, somebody can destroy my family, somebody can destroy my body, somebody can do all those things, but as a soul, nobody can destroy me because I was never created, I'll never die. And similarly, every substance in the universe, they have eternal existence. So let me go and destroy something. Let me have a war and destroy that neighbor or the next society or the next country or whatever. I cannot do that because matter substance cannot be cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. Simply they can change the state. Okay, I have the bomb and I can put it on the other country and I can just make that country into rubble. Means all the matter particle, they got separated from each other. That's it. But matter particle remain as matter particle. So one thinks about eternal existence of a given substance. If one just considers this point alone, this point alone, and not knowing anything in the philosophy, just to say, I understood eternal existence attribute of a substance. It is a common attribute, means present in a soul, matter, medium motion, medium phase, space and time, everywhere it's present. So all the substances are eternally present. So then, how can I destroy something? Or every matter particle has its own existence. So how can I destroy that matter particle? I cannot do that. How can I create something? I can't do that. So I cannot destroy, I cannot create any other substance or even myself too. So then, when we had that idea that there's a creator God, what did he create? Nothing. Everything is existing forever. So there is no need for creator God. Okay. What about destroying God? There is nothing can be destroyed. So there is no need for destroying God. And there is maintainer God. Well, every substance maintains by themselves, so there is no external interference is required. So simply knowing this eternal existence attribute of a substance, that means there is, I can come to conclusion that there is no creator or destroyer or maintainer God. I am the reason for my own existence. Okay? Can karma do something to me or not? Because karma are particles. These Jains are smart and they just said there is no creator God, destroyer God, maintainer God, nothing. There is nothing like God because I am the pure soul and I am the God. That Jains are great. But then, so they don't believe in those multiple entity as so-called God. So now they got stuck on the material karma. Oh, I have material karma fruition, and that's why it is all kind of obstructions are going on in my life. But I try to run the business, it just goes into loss all the time. I try to run the family, and everybody is getting on their own different path and everything. My obstructive karma are severely operating right now. You mean operative karma, the obstructive karma, they do something to me? You mean knowledge obscuring karma obscures my knowledge? No, that's not true. So by knowing the eternal existence of every substance, we find it out that even karma cannot do anything to me, material karma, which are closely, extremely closely associated with the soul. So rest of the things, they can't do anything to me. So one thing that eternal exists is eternal existence of a given substance. Then this is a reflective thought though. This is called reflective thought. You are thinking, I have eternal existence. I, as a soul, has eternal existence. Two things combined as one, and that's why it's called reflective thoughts right now. Non-existence entity is wrong, means asat jhutha hai. This is the form of inclination of aversion. Means the eternal existence entities are the real entities in the universe, and non-existence entity. What is a non-existence entity? Universe is existing forever, but certain thing examples are given in the scripture. Non-existence entity, for example, saying that there is a flower blooming in the space, never happens. A donkey with the horns, never happens. So that non-existence, like those kind of thing, they are wrong, means they're wrong. So this form of inclination is called aversion. So we have the attachment and aversion. In case of aversion, means dvesh is in the form of anger and ego. When you say rag dvesh, or you can say anger, deceit, ego, greed, both are same thing, because dvesh means in case of aversion means anger and ego. In case of aversion means anger and ego. And one suppresses anger and ego state by getting engrossed in the true natural self. So over here, what's happening? The monk is there on the 7th spiritual development state. He has mild toxic emotions of anger, deceit, ego, greed, of extreme feeble karma fruition type of inclinations present. Now, he is using his personal effort and he suppresses these guys. He suppresses this anger and ego. And that way he gets engrossed in his eternal self. Increase of attachment, rag is in the form of deceit and greed. This increase of attachment is in the form of deceit and greed. Increase of aversion is anger and ego. So anger, ego, deceit, greed, whatever types of toxic emotions are remaining, that the monk on the 7th spiritual step, he with his personal effort, he suppresses them. He suppresses those anger, ego, deceit, greed type of emotions. One suppresses this type of these states by getting engrossed in the self. When he gets engrossed into the self, on the other side, those things get suppressed. To take attention away from karma is called winning over karma, suppression of the toxic emotions, or removal of the bhavya, bhava, sankar dos. Means over here, am I missing the slides here? Okay, yeah, here it is. So that means the anger, deceit, ego, greed are like a dirty water. The soul and anger, deceit, ego, greed are mixed together, and you put the alum inside. When you put alum, the mud sits down. This alum is put it in, mud sits down, and clear water is on the top. Similarly, the monk, his feeble amount of toxic emotions are present, and he intensifies efforts, and he just suppresses this mud, anger, deceit, ego, greed. So he enjoys the purity of the soul over here. So in this stanza, one forcefully gives up deluding state in altered state. With weakness in the mode, the enlightened person is aiming towards the fruition of karma, the doer of the action reaction, which is called bhavak. On the previous slide we had seen, or I can bring that slide again. This is called bhavak. Fruition of karma is called bhavak, and deluding state is called bhavya. So bhavak is this guy over here, and bhavya is a deluding state over here. So bhavak, bhavya, or fruition of karma, an altered state. So here what it tries to tell us, that with weakness in the mode, monk still has slight amount of weakness remaining. The enlightened person is aiming toward the fruition of karma. So with that weakness, he just brings attention to the fruition of karma. The fruition of karma are called bhavak, or doer of the reaction. The doer of the act. This produces altered state in the soul, means bhavya. This soul has a bhavya, soul has an altered state, and the fruition of karma is a bhavak. This state occurs in the aspirant soul, including monks. Mainly, we are talking from the monk's perspective. When one takes refuge in the eternal self, then they aim towards the instrumental cause in the form of fruition of karma gets suppressed. So that means when you are looking over here, when you are over here, when you are bringing attention more to the eternal soul substance, then apparently all this reaction gets suppressed, just like that mud sitting down in the water. And this is called Bhavya Bhavak Shankar Dos, fruition of karma and altered state hybridization fault. In 31 stanza, it says object of knowledge and knowledge having hybridization fault. And when that was removed, that this enlightenment occurred. Over here, when the monk tries to remove this fault, then he ends up going up to the 11th spiritual development state, which is called suppression of the deluding state. From 7th spiritual state, he climbs to 8, to 9, to 10, to 11, and 11 is a dead end. At that 11 dead end, he will remain there for less than 48 minutes, and then he will definitely fall down, and he may stop at 6, he may further fall down to 5, he can go to 4th, or he may also can go to 1st spiritual development state. But remember that once he found out that he can put the personal effort, he can sense, he can experience the eternal soul substance, so he will intensify his personal effort more, and finally he will go for liberation. So next thing, let's see what happens here. All right, so this thing is there. So now, what Sankar means association relationship. Association or relationship. In the first form of laudation, now again we are going back to 31 stanza. Ownership and the oneness with the alien object was removed, and one ended up with the right faith, 4th spiritual development state. Ownership was the fault of the faith. Ownership was a fault of the faith. Means right now, what spiritual development state we are on? We are in 1st spiritual development state. So whenever I'm trying to know an object, I indirectly put my ownership on that object. I like it, I hate it, something like that. I can say, this is phone. That's a simple knowledge. This is my phone. I put the ownership on. This is my house. This is my computer. This is my body. All those things are ownership. And that ownership is a fault of the faith. Now, in this 32nd stanza, the oneness fault is here. The association with oneness fault is present. Means in the 31 stanza, there was a association with oneness. That kind of fault was present. In this second form of laudation, which we are talking right now, 32nd stanza. This is 31st stanza, 31st stanza. Now we are talking 32nd stanza here. That there is no oneness type of fault, because oneness type of fault was removed when one ended up with a Samyak Darshan. still there is fault due to having association with the fruition of karma, due to his own instability nature. So this word instability is a predominant in 32nd, and oneness was predominant in a 31 stanza. Yes, question?
Kirit, can you just quickly say it in Gujarati?
Okay. 31 ગાથામાં એકત્વનો દોષ હતો, પર સાથે એકત્વ કર્યું હતું. 32મી ગાથામાં એકત્વ તો નીકળી ગયું કે સમ્યક દર્શન થયું છે, પણ હજી અસ્થિરતાનો રાગ રહ્યો છે. એ અસ્થિરતાનો રાગ રહ્યો છે એને મુનિરાજ સપ્રેસ કરીને આગળ જાય છે. એ અસ્થિરતા રાગને દબાવી દે છે, કેમ કે એમાં ફર્સ્ટ સ્ટેપ વિલ બી દબાવવાનો આવશે અને સેકન્ડમાં એલિમિનેશન આવશે. 33મી ગાથામાં એલિમિનેશન આવશે. એટલે આમાં એકત્વનો દોષ, આમાં અસ્થિરતાનો દોષ આવે. બરાબર છે, રાઈટ? એકત્વનો મિથ્યાત્વને કારણે હતો અને અસ્થિરતાનો અનુસારની પ્રક્રિયા જે થાય છે, જે રાગ થાય છે ભૂમિકાનો, ચોથા, પાંચમા, છઠ્ઠા ગુણસ્થાનક, સાતમા ગુણસ્થાનક, એની વાત છે. બરાબર?
Right.
Okay. So in a fourth, in the first, in 31st stanza, there was a oneness, means ownership. I had an ownership on the alien object. This is my bed, this is my light, this is my computer, this is my house, this is my body, these are my karma, and all those things vanish. Mine, 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 mine. That's my wrong faith. But I removed that wrong faith. I removed that wrong faith, and as a result, I went to the fourth spiritual development state. But I removed the faith. Faith is brought to the eternal soul, but I still have a conduct deluding karma present. Let's see, hold it. Let me bring something here. One second, I'm trying to bring another slide. Okay, anyway, I think it's somewhere, I can't get it right now, it's just hidden somewhere. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, that you guys know it, that the deluding karma mainly two types: faith deluding karma and conduct deluding karma. And in the fourth spiritual development, I removed the faith deluding karma, and that's why my faith, which was directed to the alien objects, now is directed to me. So that means samyak darshan. But conduct deluding karma are still present, and that's what is giving me problem. That conduct deluding karma are giving me problem over here. So this is what we are talking, that you try to remove this conduct deluding karma over here, because the conduct deluding karma is giving instability nature to the soul. So soul says that I'm supposed to remain engrossed into my soul, in my eternal nature, but my personal efforts are not strong enough, and these fruition of karma are attracting me on the other side, and that's why it's called, I don't have stability to remain in my natural state, so it's called instability nature. And because of that instability nature, he ends up having relationship with the fruition of karma, and that's why this hybridization fault occurs. And so, monk, he's suppressing that state. Just like putting alum and the garbage or the mud is sitting down and on the top is pure water. Similarly, he has suppressed his inclusive attachment state, and that's why he is a purity generated and ends up going up to 11 spiritual state, but it remains transiently because this is suppression of the karma that you did. So ultimately he falls down from there, from 11 to 6 to 5 to 4 to 1 also. So that's the 32nd stanza we talk about. Knowledge as self and alien knowing property, we know that part. First form of laudation now, 31st stanza. When knowing only the alien object and not knowing the self, he is called having oneness and ownership with the alien object, means wrong faith. In the second form of laudation that we are talking right now, while knowing alien object, the soul continues to know about the self. Over here, he did not know the self at all. Just like us, we are first spiritual development state. We don't have experience of the soul. We know everything about alien objects. We could be a space scientist, or we could be nuclear physicist, or we could be a highest form of doctor, or whatever, or engineer or computer person. So we know alien object, but do not know our own self. Over here, by knowing alien object, he knows himself also. And this is simply the association with the alien object. Over here, this ownership with the alien object. Simply, this is association. Means this Samyak Drashti Jeev, right faith person, he has anger, deceit, ego, greed state. He is aware of it, and he knows it's because of his weakness. Over here, he justifies his anger, deceit, ego, greed. Hey, we live in this society, so we have to be smart, we have to be cunning, and if you have to, in a corporate world, if you want to move ahead, you have to step on other people's toe and push them behind and keep going up. This is a killer world, and we have to survive. So we just do whatever anger, deceit, ego, greed, we take ownership on it. Here he says, this is my weakness that I get associated. I should not be doing it. So the difference between the first form of laudation, second form of laudation, Pehli Stuti and a Biji Stuti, this is the main difference. This is the fourth, fifth, and sixth spiritual development state. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spiritual development state. Now, suppression means upsham. He has suppressed those karma, fruition, etc. He has suppressed his increase of attachment state, etc. Just by putting alum, the garbage set down and water was pure on the top, but it was still, garbage was still sitting. So that's upsham of the altered state by intensifying attention drawn to the self. He is doing all these things. He is acting as an alum, and that alum is bringing attention to the eternal soul substance. So, any form of altered state or any more means all these things, they get suppressed. Influence of attachment gets suppressed. Deceit, greed, influence of aversion, anger, ego, condition due to karma, condition due to quasi-karma, condition due to mind, condition to speech, and condition due to physical action, and all the plus condition due to 5 senses. All those things are ultimately getting suppressed, and that suppression occurs by having attention brought to the eternal soul substance. So in the stanza, Chandra Acharya Dev says that when we are saying that the altered state or the deluding state is suppressed, instead of a altered state, put the word influence of attachment, that gets suppressed. Deceit, suppressed. Greed, getting suppressed. All these guys, individually also we can talk about it, but ultimately it means that to take attention away from them and to intensify my personal attention to the personal effort to the eternal soul substance. So in the stanza it says these five senses and these 16 guys, over 11 guys, 5 plus by 16 different ways we can talk about all those things, how the separation of the altered state occur, how the separation of influence of attachment occur, how the separation of deceit, greed, all those things. You guys are smart, you know already, so you already have made attempt to know this one, so we won't go in that much detail about each one individually because we are talking same thing again. So Samaysar Anusilan Baril Hukamchand Barilji wrote down Samaysar Anusilan. So he tries to make all this 31, 32, 33 stanza in one paragraph. I will read Hindi and try to translate it to English. मेघनायक संकट दोष के परिहार पूर्वक होने वाली जितेंद्रिय जीन रूप प्रथम निश्चय स्तुति चौथे गुण स्थान से लेकर सातवें गुण स्थान स्वस्थान अप्रमद भाग तक होती है. The first part of the laudation goes from fourth spiritual development state to the first half of the seventh spiritual development state. That's the first type of laudation. Second type of laudation, जितमोह जिन रूप दूसरी निश्चय स्तुति उपसर्ग श्रेणी वालों को होती है और भाव्य भावक के अभाव पूर्वक होने वाली होती है. Means in the second form of laudation, the absolute laudation means separation ladder, that soul is climbing separation ladder, going from later half of the seventh spiritual development state to 8, 9, 10 and 11, and 11 will be dead end, and from there soul will definitely fall down. He cannot progress further. And then third one, क्षीण मोह जीन रूप तृतीय निश्चय शुद्धि क्षपक श्रेणी वालों को होती है. Means the 33rd stanza, he is giving some indication to us what comes in 33rd stanza, that instead of a separation of all those influence of attachment state, now he eliminates those things. Instead of having the muddy water, put the alum and garbage sitting down, pure water on the top. Instead of that, he takes the garbage totally out. There is no separation, but elimination of all those toxic emotions. And that's a third form of absolute laudation. इस प्रकार चौथे गुणस्थान से 12 गुण तक निश्चय स्तुति होती है. 13वें गुणस्थान निश्चय स्तुति का फल है. So as we see over here, from fourth spiritual state to all the way to 12th spiritual state, this thing keeps on going. First form of laudation goes from 4th, 5th, 6th and first half of 7th. Second form of laudation goes from later part of 7th to the 8, 9, 10, 11 separation ladder. Third form of laudation goes from later part of the 7th and goes to 8, 9, 10 and 12, which is called annihilation ladder or elimination ladder. And so from 4th to 12th spiritual development state, these three parts of absolute laudations are present, and 13th spiritual development state is the fruition of all your effort. All the efforts ends up in the omniscient state. So this is in short all the three stanza that we are talking about. So Bhavarth meaning quickly, after getting right faith at fourth spiritual development state, aspirant soul, the householder and the monk can have milder form of conduct impurities. The faith deluding karma is removed, but conduct deluding impurity is there. So here the mainly monk state at the seventh spiritual development state is considered. This occurs due to self and fruition of the conduct deluding karma acting as instrumental cause, means the fruition of the karma acting as a doer, instrumental cause, doer, or is called bhava. The soul's condition is its own eligibility in the present state, means soul is having the impurity, and that is called bhavya. With the power of discriminative science, one experiences such states separate from karma fruition. One intensifies personal effort and separates the self from the karma fruition. He is giving up attention to instrumental cause and intensely taking refuge in the eternal soul substance, and in this state deluding karma gets suppressed because of the suppression ladder he is walking on. This experience phase is called Jit Moha, means winning of the altered state, means you have winning on the enemy, but you're not completely eliminated. That enemy again can gather, and he can come back as a in the war against you in the future. So you have just you are winning over, but not complete elimination of the state. So karma suppression, karma suppressed, annihilation, karma eliminated, annihilation comes suppression, karma are suppressed and annihilated in fruition. So now there is some point, one minor point Gurudev wants to really have us understand. He wants us to understand that exactly what happens from 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 spiritual development state. We said suppression, but it's not only suppression. There is something more to that. And it's a very minor, a very microscopic point. He wants us to understand that point. So we just said that the 7 spiritual development to 8, 9, 10, 11 is called suppression ladder. Suppression ladder means karma gets suppressed. In actuality, karma gets suppressed and karma also get annihilation, comes suppression. My God, we just understood barely what is happening, and now you are throwing the monkey wrench and whole knowing that we have it. What is what's a plan here? To totally confuse us? No. Plan here is to have us know properly, so we do not have pitfalls and we don't get stuck somewhere unnecessarily. So when we say suppression ladder, means it's called suppression or annihilation comes suppression. Both the things are happening in that ladder. That's what it tries to tell us. Still doesn't make sense what we are talking about, right? Yes, you are right. So we'll just go a little bit more in that one. Suppression ladder, what happens? What happens to karma and what happens to them? What happens to karma and what happens to them? Which karma and what happens to them? For example, suppression ladder, when you're going suppression ladder, what type of karma are involved? The destructive karma. Again, little refreshment of the memory. Karma are infinite types. They are mainly divided into 2 types. The suppression, destructive karma and non-destructive karma. You are aware of that part. Destructive karma and non-destructive karma. Destructive karma are 4 types. Knowledge obscuring karma, perception obscuring karma, deluding karma, obstructing karma. 1 second, I have to put my electricity. Once again, karma There are 8 types of main division of a karma are 8 types, out of which there are 2 main types: destructive karma, destructive karma and non-destructive karma. Destructive karma are 4 types: deluding karma, knowledge obscuring karma, perception obscuring karma, obstructing karma. Jnanavarniya karma, darshanavarniya karma, antaraya karma, mohniya karma. 4 types. Non-destructive karma are 4 types: name karma, status determining karma, age determining karma, and feeling karma. They are called non-destructive karma. Right now, we are not talking about this non-destructive, so put them on the bank on the side. We talk about the destructive karma only because they are the troublemaker for everybody. So, deluding karma are the king of all the karmas. It says, if you want to win over all this karmic association with the soul, you start working with this guy alone first. If you remove this guy, deluding karma, then rest of the other karmas, they just run away just like that. Just in the war, if you kill the, olden time war stories we have heard, but in the recent time, when Saddam Hussein was killed, his army got disrupted, and then everything became very weak in Iraq side, whatever that we know about it. Deluding karma are like this. They are the king. If you just win over the deluding karma, then rest of the karmas are just at your service and they will not bother you. So deluding karma, and then knowledge obscuring karma, perception obscuring karma, obstructing karma, all 4 will come. But when deluding karma, what happens to them? In separation ladder, when we are going from 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 spiritual development ladder, which is separation ladder, which is 32nd stanza, and the 11th spiritual development is a dead end, from where soul will definitely fall down. Who has gone through the separation ladder? Can we give a couple of examples? Yes. Rishabdev Bhagwan, in the previous 3rd life, he went twice on the separation ladder. And then he also bonded Tirthankar Nam Karma, then he went to the heaven, and then he came as a Tirthankar. And then on the when he, after taking monkhood, he went through the elimination ladder and went to 12 spiritual development state, to 13, and then Siddhadasha, 14 onwards. So, separation ladder, Rishabdev Bhagwan had twice. What else? Srimad Rajchandra ji said that he was also on separation ladder, had gone up to 11 spiritual development state, and this was at the time of Mahavir Swami's time. And he came back, he has to fall down, he went down all the way to 1st spiritual development state. And in this life, he again obtained some right faith. And now, after finishing next life, he'll be born as a human being and he will get liberated. So, separation ladder. Deluding karma gets separation, means upsam. Separation ladder, mainly deluding karma, separation. But knowledge obscuring karma, what happens to them? They get annihilation comes separation. Perception obscuring karma, annihilation comes separation. Obstructive karma, annihilation comes separation. Why such partiality? There is a reason for it. When we are talking separation of karma, out of all the 8 karmas, only deluding karma can get suppressed. Remaining karma cannot get suppressed. They can have annihilation come separation, means kshayopsham. This is called upsham. You are saying it doesn't make sense to my mind. Well, we'll go slow here. What happens on the fourth spiritual day? Let's say that we all are doing our personal effort right now. We are intensifying our personal effort. We already have decided about the nature of the soul and nature of the universe, and now we have made the real determination of the nature of the soul, and now we are on the spiritual path. And let's say one fine morning we all end up getting samyak darshan, means experiencing of the soul. What happens to karma at that time? The deluded karma, when first time a soul obtains samyak darshan, first time deluding karma gets suppressed. Deluding karma gets suppressed. When they are in suppression state, in the dirty glass of water, you put the alum and the dirt settles down on the bottom, and on the top there's a pure water. Similarly, when the deluding karma gets suppressed, on the top there is a pureness of the soul, purity of the soul, experiencing of the soul. That's called samyak darshan. It's called upsam samyak darshan, or suppression type of samyak darshan, suppression type of right faith. It will remain transiently. You move the glass and the dirt becomes spread into the water again. Similarly, over here, karma gets suppressed, but they cannot be suppressed only for certain time, and within certain time, they will just come in fruition. So only suppression occurs in deluding karma. Now, why not to have knowledge obscuring karma get suppression too? Why you are doing partiality to one and not to other? I want to have knowledge obscuring karma get suppressed also at the time, same time. No, it's not possible. Remember here, in deluding karma getting suppressed means the water becomes pure and dirt is still sitting on the bottom. Purity of the water is there. So karma gets suppressed, deluding karma gets suppressed, and your purity of the soul is on top, and you are experiencing soul substance. If you do the same thing to knowledge obscuring karma and you suppress, what will happen? Purity will be on the top, and that will be Keval Gnana. That will be omniscience knowledge. And once omniscience knowledge comes, it cannot go away. And over here you said this deluding karma got suppressed transiently, and then they come in fruition again. Here, knowledge obscuring karma cannot be suppressed. Same thing, perception obscuring karma cannot be suppressed. Same thing, obstructive karma cannot be suppressed. But they can have annihilation come suppression. Means, what does this word means? This is common to all three. Annihilation comes suppression means partial presence of knowledge, partial presence of perception, partial presence of things without any obstruction. So, partial purity in the knowledge means called samyak jnana. Partial purity in perception, samyak, samyak jnana, and this called also the darshan. And obstructive karma going away, it's called intensity, partial purity of the personal effort intensity. So they are called annihilation. So when suppression ladder is occurring, only one guy gets suppressed. These three guys are still having mild they are mildly suppressed, but not completely. This guy deluding karma is completely suppressed. These guys, they still have the knowledge is present, perception is present, the non-obstructive state like personal efforts are present. So in suppression ladder, two things are happening. Suppression is occurring as well as annihilation comes. Suppression means kshayopsham is also happening. Upsham and Kshapsham, two things are happening. If you have a question, please stop. Just stop me. Don't worry about it, because I presume that you guys get it. So, but if there's no understanding, please speak up. Okay. All right. All right.
So
Yeah.
Kirit uncle, the deluding karma is monya karma, and it's related to Shraddha, right?
Yes.
And Shraddha can be on or off.
No, wait, hold it. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, finish your sentence.
So fourth stage, when we enter fourth stage, we have upsham of deluding karma, and we have samyak Shraddha.
Yes.
But it's a suppression, and so that means what? Why isn't it complete annihilation of deluding karma at fourth?
Okay, all right. Remember, deluding karma are divided into two parts. The main two parts are faith deluding karma and conduct deluding karma, darshan monia and charitra monia. On fourth spiritual development state, you have suppressed deluding karma, mainly you have suppressed darshan monia karma, means faith deluding karma.
At fourth, can't we say that we have annihilated faith deluding karma?
You can do annihilation too, but in beginning, first time.
Shaik, okay, that means shaik. Complete annihilation would mean it was shaik.
Shaik.
Right.
But remember, your personal efforts are just strong enough to bring the faith to the eternal soul. And that starts with the deluding karma getting suppressed. So, proportionately, your personal efforts are not strong enough to eliminate that deluding karma completely.
Okay, that's my second question. So, on karma side, we're talking about shaik, suppression, different upsham, kshayam. So, what's happening on the atma side that is caused, so you have variations in karma suppression, but when it's nirvikalp dhyan, it's nirvikalp dhyan, isn't it?
Definitely.
The dhyan is the same for all people in the fourth stage. So if
Yes,
that is the same in atma, then how come you have variations in what's happening in the karma?
Remember, the very first time when the soul is getting samyak darshan, means faith is getting directed to the eternal soul, but that the personal effort is not strong enough to maintain that faith no more than antarmurat, means no more than maximum 48 minutes.
And Kirit, also the dhyan of a fourth Gunistan Jeev is Dharam dhyan. It's not Shukla dhyan. So we can't say that it's the same for all spiritually realized beings. It is not the same.
Means the intensity of those so-called concentration and meditation will be between 4 to 6 spiritual development state is called dharma dhyan, means the intensity of the personal effort is that much strong only to give you this fourth spiritual development state, to have the experiencing of the soul, which will last for antarmurat, means maximum 48 minutes minus 1 samay. But in general, it will be kind of split second. Experience occurred and then you came out. Now what happens? Your question is, okay, I have the upsam samyak darshan, means I have right faith of the suppression type. What happens next? Well, next, if the personal efforts are not strong enough, soul can end up going back to first gunasthana. He falls down from fourth to third to second to first. Or on a fourth gunasthana, From upsham, from suppression, he goes to kshayopsham, means annihilation comes suppression type, and the right faith continues thereafter. And later on, ultimately, it goes to annihilation type of a right faith, which will be the ultimate thing. So, right faith will be divided into three parts according to intensity. Right faith is right faith, experiencing the soul substance. But here, in the suppression type of a right faith, it will last only for antarmurat, means fraction of second. Kshayapsham can last for long, long time. Kshayik remains forever. Or if these three things do not happen, soul can fall down to the first spiritual development state also. So this separation type of personal effort are not that strong enough to maintain beyond that antarmura time for the soul to have experiencing. And on the other side, what happens, how can we explain antarmurat and this and that? So that's why we are taking help of this karma to say that deluding karma got suppressed for transient time, and when they come in fruition, they can come with a right faith deluding karma, or wrong faith deluding karma, or mixed faith deluding karma. Depending on that thing, soul can go to the from fourth to third to second to one, or soul can continue fourth onwards. So, spiritual ladder we are talking, it is related to the deluding karma mainly. That's why we give the different names. Intensity of the soul. How can I express intensity of the soul? So we are taking deluding karma. For example, let's say.
Okay, so I think I'm following. So when we're in Nirvikal Dhyan, there's two things at least you have to think about: how long we're there and the quality of that meditation. That's what you're saying, right?
Both. You are right. Okay. But see, how is the intensity inside my personal effort and everything to explain that one? For example, if I say, I'm very comfortable in this room. It could be 85-degree temperature right now in the room, for example. Other day we had the air condition broke down and we got acclimatized and it was 82, 83, 84, whatever, and we are comfortable because, there was no other choice, right? We have fans and all the things. And on the same time, when I say I'm okay, other person will say, I'm getting suffocated. So how can you say, is it okay or is it suffocating or what it is? So now you give gradation. You can say, 75 temperature, then become 80, then become 83, 85, 88. So now you understand the gradation. You just took the thermostat as a gradation device, but you are describing what is feeling. Similarly here, we are taking deluding karma's help to understand how much purity, how much and how long the purity is going on into the soul. So in general to say, out of 4 destructive karma, suppress, or not 4, even all the 8, I think the next slide will be coming, all the 8 karma, only deluding karma can be suppressed. Otherwise, everybody else cannot be suppressed. This is the karma theory side. We have not touched that one. So if you just say this is confusing thing, we will take these things in a proper fashion, because right now whatever came we are talking about it, but to make it properly understanding, because we don't want to get confused. Each step we go through it, it should be solid step that we understand. So at this point right now, only deluding karma gets suppressed. Just take that point. Just take that golden rule. Everything else can have different kind of action. In suppression ladder, remaining 3 karma, they can be annihilation cum suppression. That means they cannot be suppressed alone. Next thing we are talking is annihilated disposition, kshay, and all 8 karma. When we say kshay, means annihilation, means elimination of all the karma. How does it work? Annihilation means all 8 types of karma can be removed completely, and that's why Siddha Bhagwan becomes Siddha Bhagwan. Aryan Bhagwan removes the 4 of destructive karma. He's annihilated 4 destructive karma. Siddha Bhagwan has annihilated all 8 destructive karma. Now, when that was annihilation, means kshay we talked about. Now we talk about upsham. Who can be only upsham? Who can be suppressed only out of 8 karma? Just now we talked only deluding karma. Now we are talking from kshay to upsham to fruition to kshayopsham. We'll talk that one. So next one, fruition. Who can come in fruition? Who can come in fruition? All 8 karma can be in fruition at a given time. Actually, at a given time, all 8 karma are in fruition. My age determining karma are in fruition, my feeling karma are in fruition, my status determining karma are in fruition, my name karma are in fruition, my deluding karma are in fruition. That's why I have rag and dvesh with me. Then I have knowledge obscuring karma are in fruition. That's why I have certain expression of the knowledge. I have perception obscuring karma in fruition. That's why my perception is certain way, and my obstructing karma are in fruition. So that's why I have my personal effort gets blunted somewhat. So all 8 karma can be in fruition. Now comes the annihilation, comes separation. Who can be annihilated and suppressed? Then we just said only 3 karma: knowledge obscuring, perception obscuring, and obstructive karma. There are only 3 karma can I be in annihilation cum suppression. So these are discussion about 8 karmas, how they behave. How they behave from annihilation perspective, suppression perspective, fruition perspective, and annihilation cum suppression perspective.
So wait, just to be clear, so I'm starting to understand knowledge obscuring, perception obscuring, darshan and gnan obscuring karma. Based on the amount of annihilation equal, you get the amount of clarity in knowledge and darshan.
Yes, means, for example, now let's, just for the sake of understanding, let's take the word kshayopsham, which will be easier to understand, because we can just keep on saying annihilation comes suppression, it will tongue twister, but so instead of that, we use the word kshayopsham. My knowledge kshayopsham is good right now. Means I have a good expression of knowledge. My knowledge kshayopsham is dull right now. Means my knowledge is expressed in a dull way. Means it's difficult for me to grab lots of things in a generally. So annihilation cum suppression or kshayopsham means what's an expressed form of knowledge or perception or obstructive, mainly obstructive karma are 5 different types, out of which main thing that we are talking is a personal effort. So my personal effort is intense right now. Means my personal effort kshayopsham is pretty good. My personal effort kshayopsham is kind of very dull right now. Means my personal efforts are down in the dump and I just don't want to do anything. I'm just getting depressed. I'm getting frustrated, all those things. So they are partially present in the form of intensity over here. These 3 guys, they will be having the intensity expressed. deleting karma can go in suppression. That's why we can get samyak darshan. Even though it could be suppression, will be transient. Once you get transient samyak darshan, means your effort can go further up and you can just go in the further progression.
Kirit bhai,
Yes.
a question. Kshayopsham ગુજરાતીમાં જો આપણે કહીએ તો at that time કર્મને the ones જે ઉદયમાં આવ્યા છે એનો ક્ષય થાય છે અને જે સત્તામાં પડ્યા છે એનો સંક્રમણ થાય છે. Right? એ સત્તામાં જ રહે છે એટલે એનો ઉપશમ થયો કે એ ઓછા થાય છે ઇન્ટેન્સિટીમાં.
Okay. You know what? I think let me just. You know what we will do? We will have a separate session for these things because I think this is brand new subject opened up, and there is going to be. We have gone some of the things in the past, but in this scenario, it will be good to recollect all those things again. So we will just define what is kshayopsham, what's a fruition, what's separation, what's a kshay, and all those things. We will take that special class next week and try to understand much better about all this thing. Right now, just understand this part only, because if you start that one, we won't be able to finish all the things, and I think we have only 10 minutes remaining, 10-12 minutes on. So we will just, let's try to finish this part, and we will have all these things, karma part occurring next week, okay? All right? Next one, suppression ladder. What happens in suppression ladder? That's what the original discussion started with. In suppression ladder, diluting karma, here the conduct diluting karma needs to be considered. Remember, Chirag, your question. The diluting karma means conduct diluting, because faith diluting karma are already gone on the fourth spiritual development state. So conduct diluting karma we are talking about. And they can be suppression, annihilation comes suppression, or fruition. In suppression ladder, this suppression or all these four things possibly can happen. So here what it says, knowledge obscuring karma, what can happen? They can have annihilation comes suppression, and fruition, and no suppression. Means, take this word out right now. It's not suppression ladder. We are just talking just diluting karma in generally after samyak darshan. They can be in either of the four situations. Knowledge obscuring karma could be annihilation comes suppression and fruition, but there cannot be suppression alone for knowledge obscuring karma. Similarly, perception obscuring karma also, everything can happen, but no suppression. Similarly, obstructing karma, everything can happen, but no suppression. So in the destructive karma side, these three karmas cannot be suppressed. Only suppression can occur in deluding karma. Rest, annihilation can occur, means knowledge obscuring karma can be completely removed. Knowledge obscuring karma can be in fruition. Knowledge obscuring karma, their annihilation comes suppression, means partial expression of the knowledge is there within me. And similarly, in all other two remaining karma also. I know it's not getting clarified. Don't worry. We will have a special session for this one, and we'll understand this one. Yeah.
Kirit uncle, is there a standard dakhlo, like for dravya gun paryay and for karan karya? We did the pot maker and the pot. Is there a standard shastra no dakhlo that illustrates kshayopsham and upsham?
No, we will have, yeah. Kshayopsham is a word which is most confusing, and not only for this class, but even very highly learned people, means those who have done lots of Swadhay, they also get confused with that one. And so Kshayopsham needs to be understood much better. Actually, Kshay, Upsham, and Uday, all three things happens in Kshayopsham. How that happens, As we said, we'll just talk next week a little bit more, so it will become a lot more clear, clarified, and then we'll come back to these 3 slides again, so it will make a lot more sense to us. Okay?
Can I just, in my mind, there's a daklo, and then can you just tell me if it's relevant? Then I'll keep it. If it's not, I'll throw it out.
Okay.
So like if 2 people are in a dark room, right? And in the room is a big block of ice. It's a completely dark room, and there's a big block of ice. So both of them experience the coolness of the air. So in that sense, their shayopsham is the same. But one of the guys has his hand on the ice, so he can feel the ice, and so now he has greater shayopsham, right? They both have sort of the upsham, the shraddha. They have that there is ice in the room, but one of them has greater shayopsham, that there is ice because he can feel the air and he can touch the ice, and the other one, he knows there's ice somewhere in the room, but he can't feel. He hasn't touched it yet. Something, is that something?
You
like
can
that?
say so. You can say so. That can be, because it means expression of knowledge, intensity of expression of knowledge is called kshapsham in general. And then why that word kshapsham, and then it involves 3 things, and we'll talk about that one, because it just needs a little bit more understanding from karma perspective, and it just becomes too muddy right now by not having base getting ready. So we will do that. Your example that one is feeling the cold air, one is feeling cold air as well as he's feeling the ice, that can be saying that he has greater kshapsham, other one is less kshapsham. Or other way around, saying that the nigod cell also has knowledge kshapsham. But that kshapsham is so minimal, so microscopic, so teeny tiny, but it's still there. Remember, from that teeny tiny kshapsham, in that teeny tiny expression of the knowledge, that soul is going to come out, go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents, and 5 cents human, and then kshapsham can become bigger, and then with personal effort, he can have a keval, omniscience knowledge also. So every living creature, every soul has a capacity to get a omniscience knowledge. It just one has to work at it. It's there. So even, and we were in Nigod, so we had that knowledge. Now we have a lot more knowledge, and tomorrow with Samyak Darshan, it will be, the knowledge will be purified, and thereafter knowledge will progress to omniscience knowledge, and that will be complete knowledge. So knowledge is there to everybody. There is nothing that, even that bacteria, think about this coronavirus, how small it is, and how big you are, in making your life miserable. You're scared to come out of the house. You're scared of the teeny tiny bug that you cannot see under microscope also. But they have that capacity also. Anyway, so let's talk further. And I think there are a couple of more, almost, there are few more slides are there. Let's see what she says. So suppression ladder, the conduct deleting karma gets suppressed. At the same time, conduct in the suppression ladder, conduct deluding karma gets suppressed, but knowledge obscuring, perception obscuring, and obscuring karma, they are getting annihilated, come suppressed. They cannot be suppressed alone because there is no capacity within them to get suppressed. So in suppression ladder, mainly from conduct deluding karma perspective, we can just say it's a suppression ladder, but there is annihilation come suppression also going on side by side in the other karma. Bhavak, again, bhavak means fruition of the deluding karma. It's denoted as a doer of an act. Bhavya means the eligibility of the given mode of the soul into the form of altered state. Bhavak, Bhavya Sankar, those mean hybridization fault of Bhavak and Bhavya. Removal of such fault by suppression etc. See, it did not say word suppression only, but suppression, etc. This etc. means the suppression comes elimination of the remaining 3 karma. Suppression only for the deluding karma. Etc. means remaining 3 karma are kshayopsham of such altered state mode in the soul. This is second form of Tirthankar laudation. This is second form of absolute form of Tirthankar laudation. Tirthankar Bhagwan Stuti. In the first form of laudation, there was knowledge, and the object of knowledge, hybridization, fault removed. In the second form of laudation is much more purer than the first one. Here in the second form of laudation, there was removal of the bhavya bhavak hybridization fault, means fruition of karma and influence of attachment, those hybridization fault removal. Non-existence attribute, abhav gun. Gurudev talks about this thing. What does he try to say? Over here, the word is one's own strength, apne bal se. Means he is doing a removal. How does he do removal? With his own strength. It means that soul's present effort occurs due to self only. The suppression, etc. of the karma occurs independently. Soul performs its own personal effort. Soul has attribute called non-existent attribute, abhav gun. Due to this attribute, soul by itself has modification of purity when the secondary cause of karma fruition is absent. So now, what it says over here, abhav gun, non-existence attribute. Soul is having non-existence attribute within. Soul has a abhav gun within. How can soul have non-existence attribute within? Tell me. How can the soul can have non-existence attribute within? Soul has a non-existent attribute of not to have touch, taste, smell, color, etc. state within. That's called non-existence attribute. Soul has a non-existence attribute of having no touch, taste, smell, or color within. Because those are the positive attribute of the matter particle. So when we say abhav means non-existence, the soul has an existence, non-existence, 2 types of attribute within. Existence and non-existence, 2 types of attribute within. And they are exactly opposite to each other. How can you have existence and non-existence attribute within? Existence attribute says that I have a knowledge attribute, perception attribute, conduct attribute, faith attribute, bliss attribute, existence, whatever. All those attributes are present, and that's because of existence attribute being present within me. At the same time, me as a soul, exactly at the same time, non-existence attribute, that means I don't have color, taste, smell, etc. attribute within me because of non-existence attribute within me. So all those things that the soul is doing is by its own personal effort is doing, and it has non-existent attribute, and due to this attribute of non-existent attribute, soul by itself has modification of purity. Modification of purity occurs in the soul by itself. He doesn't need any help on anybody else. At the same time, secondarily, the karma fruition is absent, and karma fruition getting absent on the other side happens because of karma fruition. soul getting purity because of soul alone. And this is what it tries to tell us about abhav gun or non-existence attribute. If you just go to the 47 power at the end of the Samaysar, there are 47 powers described. And in that 47 power, there is existence attribute, there is non-existence attribute, then existence, non-existence attribute, non-existence, existence attribute, and all kind of things are there. Six sets of things are there. Bhav gun, Abhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti. So there's 6 types of Shaktis are there, and there it says one thing. We have existence attribute within me. I have existence attribute within me. That means I have presence of particular mode at a given time. I have, at the same time, I have non-existence attribute within me, means when my mode is of inclusion of attachment going on, that means the purity mode is absent, non-existence at the time. This will take little time. We are already about the time, so what we'll do, we have 2 jobs to do. We'll talk about this non-existent attribute things a little bit more in detail, and we'll talk about those kshayopsham, etc. next time. Any questions so far? I know so many things are not clear in your mind, and I know about it, I'm aware of it. We'll take extra care next time, and we'll make sure that those 2 confusing things will become clear in your mind. Anything else you want to add or subtract?
You know, Kirit uncle, you talked about obscuring karma, antaray karma, right?
Yeah.
And I can understand there's somehow a spectrum when it comes to knowledge and darshan. Mm-hmm. Spectrum meaning, you know, you have greater the annihilation, the greater the clarity or purity of that mm-hmm. knowledge or darshan. But I don't understand having a range in or a spectrum with obscuring. What does that mean? Like, can you give an example?
No. See, you are a nuclear physicist. How much do I have knowledge about nuclear physics? Nothing. Zero. Zip. If you talk about your things right now, I'll get totally confused because my kshayopsham for knowledge about nuclear physics is zero. If I talk about I talk about the kshayopsham, kshayopsham, everything, I can talk to you for hours right now, but then how much is a perception, how much is acceptance in everybody's mind? Not that strong, for example. That means the intensity of knowledge expression is less at the time. So that the varieties of intensity can be there. That's
okay. Why I think I get it. So for the obscuring karma, the antaray karma, the willingness to learn, is that what is changing? So we just described you. Okay, so you don't know nuclear physics, so your kshayopsham is less for that, yes. Right?
Yes.
But let's say you are very much inclined to learn it, and you read a whole book in a day. Then antaray karma is considered very annihilated.
No, antaray karma means...
Isn't that for a virya gun?
Virya gun, yeah. Antaray karma means as a labh, labhantray, danantray, bhogantray, ubhogantray, and a viryantray. Out of 5 things, viryantray is a predominant, means personal effort. My personal effort, how are they right now? As you said, I don't know nuclear physics today, but then I read and I just put my entire timing on that one, concentration on that one. My personal effort were directed there and I understood now. So that's a personal effort.
Right. And so here goes. So my understanding is, pursuant to what Chirag is asking, my understanding is that and correct me if I'm wrong, please. Antarai karma. Again, we spend so much time, or at least sometimes we spend time looking at karma, which is outside, but that's really just to mirror what's going inside, which is our own personal purity. So antarai karma I believe, is a nimit karan, or reflection, nimit reflection or measurement of our own internal virya gun, which is essentially our purusharth, our internal effort.
Yes.
So when our internal effort is low, as an instrumental cause, you have a significant collection or fruition of antarai karma. And when our personal effort is very high, you have a commensurate either destruction or
less
diminution.
Yes. Yeah. So
thank you. I think my Shoyopsham increased a little bit. I got it.
All right. Okay. Because of Purusharth. Okay. All right. Okay. No, I'm sorry for today's things, because these things we will just make sure we will go. I'll make sure that if we will understand. Remember.
Here I go. One last thing. Question. Okay. I hear this a lot. So many times people connect antarai karma. Again, for people who put the emphasis on karma. I hear antarai karma associated a lot with for example, tapascharya or vrats or pratyakhyans or alochanas, etc. Can you explain that connection?
Because again, if I'm not prepared to do those kind of things internally, I'm not ready for austerity, that means I can blame it to the antarai karma. But antarai karma are merely reflection of my internal state. So rather than barking at the wrong dog, we just have to just work at our own problem. That why I'm not able to do this one. I may have 1,000 excuses, but if I want to do it, I can do it. Period. That's it. When I was in the Bangladesh war in '71, I was just finished my medical school, and I was there was uh, 1 year compulsory internship to be performed. In that internship, we had gone to that place. We have seen the ladies who were so aristocratic ladies that they never put foot out of their home without slippers on. Now, I mean, we are talking Bangladesh and all kind of, we are talking '71 and everything. And when the war started, those ladies and pregnant, they ran without slippers, nothing, went to the mud and river and water and all kind of thing. They came to Indian side as a refugees. So, I mean, the day before you can say, would you do this one? They say, are you kidding? I can't do that. Now, when the survival came, all the Purusharth woke up and they were able to do it. Similarly, if my Purusharth wakes up, I can do anything. I can obtain Keval Gnan today if I want to, depending on my personal effort getting waken up. So all this knowledge we are getting it to strengthen our personal effort idea. And once that idea gets solidified, then there is no stoppage for getting Samyak Darshan, at least in this life, for anybody. Right? All right, so what we'll do, we'll stop over here. It's only I took over 10 more minutes, then it's really a long time for you guys. We will just continue the discussion next week. And meanwhile, if you have any questions or anything comes up, suggestions, anything, just send me out emailers also, okay? All right. Javani ke gyan se suze lokalok, sovani mastakanamo sada deta hudo. 9 times Namaka mantra. Namo Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.
Thank you.